Hello everyone, it's Tom the taxi driver, and today we're going to be going to some of the best free views in North London. Stay tuned because I'm going to get progressively closer to central London and be showing you my most favourite view in all of London. Let's go. Our first one is the wonderful Archway. Archway Bridge. Of course, that's where Archway gets its name from. The bridge which spans across this area here, taking us very neatly from Highgate over into Crouch End and, of course, Hornsey. It was originally a brick-built bridge in 1813, then replaced in 1900 by the iron spanning bridge that we see today. This was actually initially designed to be a tunnel going through the hillside, but that tunnel would then collapse through various construction efforts, leading to this viaduct trenchway that we have now. And of course, magnificent bridge going across the top. The only other option to get up towards the Finchley Way without going all the way around the hillside was to go up Highgate Hill or Highgate High Street. So that's why this trench was needed to be cut. And Highgate Hill into Highgate High Street was incredibly steep. There was a tramway system that went up and down there, but there was actually times in the past of when fatal disasters happened as a result of that tramway failing or horses not being able to make it up the hill. But to make the most of this view, we've got to get up there and have a little look. Sadly, it's not quite as accessible a view as it once was. Someone's referred to as the Hornsey Lane Suicide Bridge, which much to the dismay of local residents. So they put these up, must have been a couple of years or so ago. So these wouldn't be here, but you can see that even previously there's been different designs to stop people from, sadly, jumping to their death. But the view, fantastic. If we can see a bit of that. So you get a beautiful vista straight into the city of London. And this area as well is quite well famed for Dick Whittington, you may remember from primary school. Now, Dick Whittington was actually 4 times Lord Mayor. It was actually said that once when he was leaving London, up in this area, maybe not quite as far north here, it was actually over on Highgate Hill, he was trekking up Highgate Hill and he could hear the sound of the Bow Bells on Cheapside. And that for him was his calling to go back to London, to go back to the city of London. So it's mad to think that as far up here, you could once hear the Bow Bells down there near St Paul's Cathedral. Now, on the trail of Lord Mayors, we're going to go to a second location to learn about another Lord Mayor. So, corner of Dartmouth Park Hill and Highgate Hill, we've got Holy Joe's Church. We're going to be going into Waterlow Park, named after our other Lord Mayor I was alluding to, Sir Sidney Waterlow. So Waterlow Park is a 26-acre park. It's actually gifted by this gentleman here, Sir Sidney Waterlow. He actually coined it as a garden for the gardenless. Obviously, now that many people might not have access to their own garden, so he provided this wonderful garden, in a setting of a nice park like this. Nice and quiet. You're not going to be too oversubscribed here. I'm being quite quiet because I know that people are enjoying this view as well. But just being able to perfectly peer right through into the city of London. It's just great parks up here as well. It's awesome. Right, we've done 2 views in Highgate. Now we're going to get a little bit closer to central London and go look at some more epic views. Let's go. Right, this next view might be a little bit obvious, but oh, really? Well, whilst we wait for that, we're going to talk about NordVPN. Now, if you don't know, Nord are a virtual private network. The idea is that you connect to one of their remote servers anywhere in the world, and it protects and anonymizes your internet traffic. So that could be whether it's your ISP that are selling your data to advertisers, or just people who might be snooping on your internet. For instance, if you connect in a coffee shop or a public Wi-Fi, anyone can hack into that and get all your internet traffic. So you download NordVPN. One account can be used on up to 6 devices. You can put that on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, whatever. You just sign in, hit Quick Connect, and you get instant security by being able to connect to one of their remote servers anywhere within the world. The other great benefit from it is because you can connect to servers all around the world, you can access media which would not be available in your native country. So say in the UK, you can connect to an American server and get content from streaming providers that would only normally be based for Americans. One of the great benefits of having the VPN. Aha, fantastic. We can now go see our view. To get the very best deal, go to nordvpn.com/Tom the Taxi Driver. I'll leave the link down below. Pick the 2-year plan because you'll get an extra 4 bonus months free. And best of all, if you don't enjoy the service, it's risk-free through NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Right, great. Now that we can go see it, let's go look at this view. Now this is the bread and butter of free views in London. You can just go online and type in best free views in London, and this will come up on just about every single search. This is, of course, Primrose Hill. Why? Because it's probably the most central and most easily accessible viewpoints in all of London. So we're going to ascend this wonderful hill and see what we can see. I mean, the previous two were pretty good, but this, in terms of a sweeping landscape, so you can see just about everything, this is where you want to come. Well, you can see right out far east, as far as Stratford. I'm trying to find it, but you can actually see the orbit, you know, the orbit tower that was part of the Olympic Games. Obviously, you can see straight through into the city of London. Nice, unobscured sightline of St Paul's Cathedral through there. Yeah, you can also see Westminster, so you can see the Victoria Tower and the flag on top poking on through. And you can just about see the spire part of Big Ben as well. London Eye, you can even see right out to Canary Wharf as well. Francis Crick Building, King's Cross, Sky Garden, number 1 Blackfriars. You can see the buildings over there that got the red, yellow and blue on top of them. They're actually like these housing blocks that are on Hampstead Road, right near where the HS2 development's going on. So that gives you an idea that's kind of near Euston. You can just see the top of the St Pancras Renaissance Hotel over there as well. And of course London Zoo is just right down the front here. I'm walking backwards to avoid the wind, but 1 bridge, 2 parks. Now we're going to go to a rooftop garden. Bosh. We're on New Oxford Street, so Oxford Street's down there. This is New Oxford Street. I've never been here before, but apparently it's a publicly accessible roof garden, so we're going to give it a go. Epic. Let's have a little look around then, shall we? This is pretty substantial. This is gnarly. So I'm on top of the post building, so it's only 9 floors up, but because we're so central, we can see all the good stuff. We're going to go to that side in a minute, but I'm going to go down that way and work out which way I'm looking. Epic. Some nice little roof gardens, viewing platforms. So you can see the Masonic Lodge there on Great Queen Street. Obviously we see the Shard again. We're a bit closer, we can see the City of London over there. Just the top of St Paul's Cathedral, poking on beyond this building here. So that's on Parker Street. I think this orange and white one's on Parker Street. We can see our way down Holborn and obviously over to Barbican that way. You can see the usual stuff like number 1 Blackfriars. You can just see the spires of Battersea Power Station in over that way. Houses of Parliament, Charing Cross Station, that big dome bit. You can even see a bit of the river through there as well. Wow, that's pretty cool. You can see right down to Crystal Palace. Yeah, you can even see Westminster Cathedral from here as well. Just down that way, Westminster Cathedral, Westminster Abbey, Shell Building, all the new developments by the Shell Building. Oh, I do love a good sightline. Just makes you think. Ooh. It is the view that keeps on giving, really, because you can see the Covent Garden Piazza through there, the old ITV building that they're also gutting out all the TV studios. Channel 4's being gutted out as well. BBC's already been done. You can even see Nelson, St Giles in the Fields. I think it's the problem with some of those big open vistas like Alexandra Palace, Primrose Hill, is you don't see some of the smaller details here in central London. I'm literally just picking up so much stuff, just looking at it, just seeing all the different church spires. I can't even see Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge right out that way. Oh, what's pretty gnarly as well is that you've got north and south views. So what we've got on this side. So you can see right up to Ali Pali, I believe. Is that going to be Ali Pali? I can't quite pick it out, but it's going to be up there somewhere over on that sort of hilltop over there. So yeah, one detail you never really get to see very well from the street is actually here, St George's, Bloomsbury. So this is a Hawksmoor church, part of the 50 New Churches Act of 1711. You actually see this in Hogarth's Gin Lane, you know, that famous picture, sort of representing 18th century London. And at the top, the statue of King George I, he's wearing Roman dress there. So a nod to the period, obviously the early 18th century, into the spire as well. You'll be able to see that there's actually a lion and a unicorn chasing each other around the steeple. This actually symbolises the end of the first Jacobite rising, basically tensions between England and Scotland of the time. Of course, the lion representing England and the unicorn representing Scotland. Behind that, of course, you can see the front entrance to the British Museum, that wonderful dome on the top there, but the Richard Westmacott portico out the front here. I can actually see inside of the British Museum. I can see through the front glass door there. Hilarious. The behemoth of Bloomsbury, the Charles Holden Senate House there, BT Tower, OVS. That's London's first skyscraper, because before that the tallest building in London was St Paul's Cathedral. So the end of the 1960s that went up. Centre Point. You can see those the blue, yellow and red buildings that we saw on Hampstead Road earlier. So we've just come the other side of them now. Because before we was above them. Fitzroy Kimpton Hotel. Charles Fitzroy Dole, who laid out a lot of Bloomsbury. He was one of the main guys of the Bloomsbury estate, or the Russell estate rather. Chief designer there of that hotel. So it's a little bit difficult to find this entrance, but it's the post building, which is sort of in between Museum Street, New Oxford Street, and that little bit of High Holborn. If you come on the New Oxford Street side, there's a set of double doors with just a white A4 sign that just says rooftop view. Double check it, I'll put it in the video description anyway, but you'll see that, and you just go through security, give them your ID, they just note it down, and away you go. A nice free entrance up here. To finish up this video, we need to go see the best of free views in all of London, and many of my cab driver colleagues will agree with me on this one. Let's go there now. Wicked! If you ask any London cab driver, I'm pretty certain 90% of them would say that Waterloo Bridge is the best view you're going to get in London. Why? Because it sits right on the bend of the River Thames, meaning that you can see all the way through to the City of London, even right out to Canary Wharf, and if we look over to the west, southwest, you'll be able to see out towards Westminster as well. Another added bonus as well is that you can get it very easily at night. So if you're out in the West End at a restaurant or whatever, you can very quickly just nip to Waterloo Bridge and take in the most wondrous view. In the 1930s, London County Council decided to demolish the old bridge and replace it with this new structure by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott. That's the same Giles Gilbert Scott that did the K2 telephone design. There was a lot of Gilbert Scotts. And this is all despite under his own admission that he wasn't actually an engineer. Construction of the new bridge began in 1937, officially opened September 1942. However, it was not fully completed until 1945. To this day, Thames riverboat pilots still call it as the Ladies' Bridge, as it's thought that up to 65% of construction workers responsible for building it were women. But maybe we could call this bridge Ladies' Bridge because it features in the 1966 film Alfie, starring Michael Caine, both in the intro shot and the outro shots. The bridge also features in the 1996 film Trainspotting. You see Ewan McGregor's character, Mark Renton, walk across this bridge, kind of denoting his change from drugs and that kind of life into a more normal kind of life. So buildings you can see from here, you can see the cheese grater, which is on Leadenhall Street. You can see St Paul's Cathedral poking out very nicely, the walkie-talkie building, which is obviously the Sky Garden at number 20 Fenchurch Street, NatWest Tower. You've got a little bit of the Shard there, in between one Blackfriars and that other building there. You can see ITV building, which of course they're redeveloping. You can even see right out to Canary Wharf, Blackfriars Bridge, HQS Wellington, even atop of St Bride's as well, another Wren church. And out that way, you've got Parliament and of course London Eye. Now, if you made it this far in the video, you might as well go down below and hit that little subscribe button. That really, really helps. And thank you so much for watching this video and doing that for me. That's it for the best views in London. If you've enjoyed this, you might like the video over here where I share some of the best eateries across London. You can make a day out of being able to see some of these views and go and have some of this top food as well. See you again soon. Bye-bye.